Hello everyone, myself Dr. Chaitra C from Department of Orthodontics, Siddhartha Dental College. Today I will be taking a lecture on classification of malocclusion. So, contents which includes malocclusion, need for classification of malocclusion, systems of classification which includes angle system of classification, modifications of angle system of classification, skeletal classifications, British standard classification of incisors, canine classification, Simon's classifications and Ackermann-Profit classification. So occlusion. So when the teeth in the mandibular arch comes in contact with those in the maxillary arch in any functional relation are said to be in occlusion. So what is malocclusion? So malocclusion is any condition in which there is deflection or deviation from the normal relation of the teeth in the arch or within the arch or with the opposing arch, which was defined by Gardner, White and Lainton. So what was the need for classification? It was used to group the orthodontic problems, to locate exactly where the problem was, to diagnose and to plan the treatment, and to compare different types of malocclusions, and for self-communication in between the dentists, and for the documentation of problems, and it is used for epidemiological studies in surveys and for assessment of treatment effects, that was before and after comparison. So coming to the methods of classification of malocclusion, which is broadly divided as quantitative and qualitative and intra-arch or inter-arch malocclusion. So malocclusion, qualitative and quantitative methods, mainly the qualitative methods which includes angle system of classification, modifications of angle system of malocclusion, Simon's classification, incisor classification, canine classification, and quantitative methods are the PAR index, the IOTN index and malalignment index by Kurt and Pennell. So malocclusion within the same arch, intra-arch, inter-arch problems mainly are the sagittal problems, which is labioversion, that is the teeth is positioned labially, lingioversion, that is the teeth that is present lingually, and mesioversion is the tipping of the teeth in the mesial direction, distoversion is the tipping of the teeth to the distal direction, rotated teeth which is rotated in the long axis of the teeth, transposition of the teeth wherein the teeth are in the adjacent tooth position place or it is erupted in a different position. Vertical problems which include supraversion and infraversion. Supraversion is nothing but supra-erupted teeth, the teeth that is erupted above the line of occlusion. Infraversion is the teeth that is erupted below the line of occlusion. So now coming to inter-arch problems, that is in sagittal, that is nothing but your antero-posterior relationship, which includes your class 2 malocclusion and class 3 malocclusions. Transverse, that includes your cross-bite, scissor bite or a midline shift, and the vertical malocclusions, which includes your deep bite and open bite. So coming to your angle system of classification of malocclusion. So in 1989, Edward Angle published the first classification of malocclusion. So the classification was completely based on the maxillary molar position. So how it is, the relationship of the mesiobuccal cusp of your maxillary first molar and the buccal groove of the mandibular first molar. So he is subdividing malocclusion into class 1 malocclusion, class 2 malocclusion and class 3 malocclusion. The class 2 malocclusion is again subdivided into class 2 division 1 malocclusion, class 2 division 2 malocclusion and class 2 subdivision. Whereas the class 3 malocclusion is again further subdivided into class 3 malocclusion, pseudo class 3 malocclusion and subdivision type of malocclusion. So let's look into angles first, that is angles class 1 malocclusion. So here the mesiobuccal cusp of the upper first permanent molar occludes with the mesiobuccal groove of the lower first molar, but line of occlusion is incorrect, that is because of a malposed teeth or a rotated teeth or such type of other discrepancies, as we can see in the below diagram. Next, coming to your class 2 malocclusion, here the mesiobuccal cusp of the lower first permanent molar occludes distal to the class 1 position. As we can see here, the maxillary molar is ahead and the mandibular molar is behind. Now coming to class 2 division 1 malocclusion, in this condition the molar relationship is the same as we defined in the class 2, what is a class 2 malocclusion, but here we have a proclined teeth with increased overjet. Coming to your class 2 division 2 malocclusion, the molar relation remains to be a class 2 malocclusion with a retroclined teeth. Here the teeth inclinations are not normal, it is retroclined, whereas your lateral incisors may be also as retroclined or it might be proclined. Now class 2 subdivision, here in this malocclusion, one side we can see the molar is in class 2 division, class 2 malocclusion, where the other side it is in a class 1 molar relationship. So this is called as Angel's class 2 division subdivision. So now next comes the class 3 malocclusion. Here the mesiobuccal cusp of the lower first molar occludes mesially to the class 1 position. So here your mandible is forward. So it is giving a class 3 malocclusion. So pseudo class 3 malocclusion, here because of any occlusal prematurity, the mandible shifts forward and it comes into occlusion, but when it is seen in different arches, it is aligned. Now Angel's class 3 subdivision, same as your Angel's class 2 subdivision, one side we see the molar is in class 1 relationship, whereas the other side we see the molar relation is in class 3 relation. So now validity of a Angel's classification. So after this classification was introduced, it has its own merits and demerits. The merits, which included easy and most practical method, even today we use this system of classification. It requires no instrumentation, easy to communicate with other dentists, and it is widely used for teaching purpose. So when it comes for demerits, so Angel considered only sagittal. Here the vertical malocclusions and the transverse malocclusion was not taken into consideration. And it was not applicable in deciduous dentition because he took only molar as a key for differentiating the classification of malocclusion. Not applicable when the first permanent molar was missing, and skeletal problems were not considered, and it did not elaborate what was the cause of the malocclusion. Next, the Angel system of classification was modified by two other scientists, that was Lister's modifications and Dewey's modification. So Lister's modification of Angel's system of classification, he differentiated into three types, that is neutro-occlusion, disto-occlusion and mesio-occlusion. Neutro-occlusion is nothing but a class 1 malocclusion, and disto-occlusion is nothing but it is a class 2 wherein your mandible is in a retrognathic position, and the mesio-occlusion wherein it is a class 3 malocclusion. Dewey's modification, which was given in again 1915, Martin Dewey divided Angel system of classification classes into in classes 1 and class 3 to further types. In class 1, type 1, crowded maxillary anterior teeth, canines may be abnormally positioned, that is it might be positioned buccally or palatally, and type 2, proclined teeth or labio version of your maxillary incisors. Type 3, anterior crossbite present. Type 4, posterior crossbite present. Type 5, mesio version of the molars. So in class 3, it is subdivided into type 1 and type 2 and type 3. In type 1, well-aligned teeth and dental arches, edge-to-edge relationship. Type 2, crowded mandibular incisors, and type 3, crowded maxillary incisors, underdeveloped maxilla giving rise to anterior crossbite. Skeletal classification, again the skeletal classification is of three types. So it is considered relationship between your maxilla and mandibular bone. In a class 1, the maxillary and mandible are in harmony with each other. In class 2, your maxilla might be prognathic and mandible might be retrognathic, or vice versa, or it is both combination. Whereas in class 3, it is maxilla is retrognathic, mandible is prognathic, or the combination of the same. British Standard of Classification of Incisor Relationship. In 1983, in a class 1, the lower incisors occlude with a line or lie just immediately below the cingulum of the incisors. In a class 2, the lower incisor edge lies posterior to the cingulum plateau of the upper incisors. There are two types in this. One is class 1 class 2 division 1 and class 2 division 2. In class 2 division 1, as we can see, there is increase in overjet, that is because of the proclined teeth there is increase in overjet, whereas in class 2 division 2 it is retroclined teeth wherein it is retroclined as we see here. In class 3, the lower incisor edges lies anterior to the cingulum plateau of the upper incisors. The overjet is reduced or it is in reverse, that is negative overjet is present. Canine classification, coming to canine classification, class 1 canine, when the mesial slope of the upper canine coincides with the distal slope of the lower canine. So this is the mesial slope of the upper canine, this is the distal slope of the lower canine. When it occludes, it is a class 1 canine relationship. Class 2, when the mesial slope of the upper canine is ahead of the distal slope of the lower canine. So here maxilla is more forwardly positioned. As we can see here, distal slope is contacting the mesial slope of the lower canine. This is considered as a class 2 canine relation. Class 3, when the mesial slope of the upper canine lies behind the distal slope of the lower canine. So it is most commonly seen in the class 3 malocclusion where the mandible is protruded or the maxilla is retruded. You can see here the canine is more forwardly positioned. This is referred to as class 3 canine relationship. Simon's classification. So in Simon's classification system, the dental arches are related to 3 anthropologic planes. The planes used are Frankfurt horizontal plane, that is also known as eye and ear plane, orbital plane or median raphe plane or mid-sagittal plane. So Frankfurt horizontal plane, it helps to detect deviations in the vertical plane. So dental arch closer to this plane is called as attraction and further away moving it is called as abstraction. Orbital plane helps to detect the deviations in the transverse plane, that is dental arch is more anteriorly positioned place, it is called as protraction, and when it is posteriorly placed dental arches it is called as retraction. Next, mid-sagittal plane helps to detect deviation in the mid-sagittal plane. The dental arch closer to the mid-sagittal plane is called as contraction and if it is moving further away it is called as distraction. Now coming to the last system of classification, that is Ackermann-Profit classification, that was given in the year 1960. It was proposed to overcome the drawbacks of the angle system of classification of malocclusion. This system includes angles classification and as well as 5 characteristics of malocclusion within a Venn diagram. So this is a Venn diagram which indicates the first 5 characteristics are dentofacial appearance, whether face was asymmetric or symmetric. Next it comes to profile of the patient, that is straight, convex and concave. So straight is seen in class 1 malocclusion, convex is seen in a class 2 malocclusion, concave is seen in a class 3 malocclusion. Next comes lips, that is protrusive, normal or a retrusive. Next was the incisor display, that whether it was an excessive incisor display, normal incisor display or it is inadequate incisor display. So within the circle again the teeth or arch form, the alignment of the arch was taken into consideration which was not taken into consideration in angles, and the symmetry of the arch was also taken into consideration. Within the circle there are again 3 circles which again was based on transverse, sagittal and vertical malocclusions. In angle system of malocclusion, only this part was taken into consideration, whereas in your Ackermann-Profit all the transverse and the vertical malocclusion are also considered, and the more the overlapping is, the more severe the malocclusion is. So in the sagittal it is anterior-posterior, it is either class 2 or class 3 malocclusion. In the transverse it is cross-bite, arch constriction or a scissor bite. In the vertical plane it is a deep bite or a open bite case. So validity of Ackermann-Profit classification, merits. What are its merits? It is explained complexities of a malocclusion, because we are taking all 3 planes into space, three planes into consideration. Next, all 3-dimensional problems are included. Next, differentiation between skeletal and dental problems are also considered. Next, profile of the patient is given the weightage. Next, the arch length problems are evaluated, whether it is crowding, spacing, it is taken into consideration. Next, helps in complete diagnosis and treatment planning. But the demerits were same as the etiology was not taken into consideration and it was based on a static occlusion, not the functional occlusion. So my references are from the Contemporary Orthodontics, William R. Prophet, Introduction to Orthodontics by Laura Mitchell, and the Textbook of Orthodontics, Dr. O.P. Karabanda. I thank you all for this presentation, listening to this presentation. Thank you.